Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Brenda, and I work for MemoryBook. Today we'll be covering the Getting Started webinar. We'll be reviewing the page ladder, adding staff members, and how to add fonts, setting up the ReplayIt private photo submission account. On your screen today, you are seeing the memorybook.com website. If you're a new advisor, I recommend you bookmark this site because it will be a valuable resource for you because there are cover ideas. You can also quickly link to your rep, your technical support, and also you will find that we have a very convenient online pay system where your customers can pay, and that takes the burden off of you as an advisor. This webinar today will be approximately 20 to 30 minutes. If you have not yet received your manual, you can contact your rep and request a digital copy to reference. Now I'm going to move to MemoryBook Online login. You will want to have your job number here to type in, and you will also need a username and password. If you don't have that information available to you, you can again get that from your yearbook representative. Um, at this time, you also want to make sure you're using the school year that you're working on the book. So we're looking at the 23-24 school year. The first thing that we come to here is what we call the deadline clock, sometimes known as the dashboard as well. What you're seeing here will look a little different for each of you. It is customized, showing you your total pages you have available. As you begin working, you will see pages you haven't started, what's in progress, and so forth. You will also see a countdown to deadlines, but please keep in mind that's deadlines that we have in our system, so that may vary from school to school. Upcoming events and tasks. These are great features that I think are often underused by advisors. You can click on these and you can plan events by clicking on the plus signs. You'll notice, regardless of which one you click on, it takes you to the same place. You can set up upcoming events that are on your school calendar. Um, Things that you want to make sure get covered for the yearbook, maybe next week, next month, and simply click here and type in the event, the date. You can color code them, put in a description, and then hit add. So for example, if I put submit cover, and I know a lot of schools want to get that in by November 1st. I'm going to put it in red and hit add. Now it doesn't show up immediately. I do need to refresh my page. Give it a second, and now it says submit cover here. The same thing is true for for tasks, and you'll notice I can also assign it to a certain staff member. And we will talk about how to assign, or excuse me, set up your staff members here in just a little bit. But again, I was an advisor, and I know I didn't personally know about this at the time, and I wish I would have used it. I think it is a very valuable tool. So planning your events and your tasks, I really want to encourage you to utilize this. Um, Next, there's the tagging images. There is a separate video series that will help you with this, but if you don't have time to watch that, please look at your manual or utilize the previously recorded videos that are available on the MemoryBook website. All of the video series are out there for you to watch at your leisure, and I think you'll find them very useful. Um, Next, we're going to move on to the ladder. You can get to that by going to Plan or create. You'll notice the page ladder is in both places. Now, your page ladder is really the backbone structure of your book. So first of all, this is where you want to set up or think ahead of what you want your book to be laid out as. Some schools will do a chronological book, meaning it will be laid out in the order in which the events happen. Some schools will do it in order of grades. It's whatever works best for you. But the point is that you want to have a plan of how many pages you need delegated to each section. So if you'll look to the left side where you have sections and topics, that is new this year, the way the ladder is set up. So if you go to section, I already have created two sections here. So to add a section, you just come up to this little plus sign here. And well, actually, you can just type where it says add section. So I'm going to select, I'm going to type in sports. Notice it has predictive text and it is suggesting topics for you. You can click the suggestion and you simply hit enter and it puts sports down here. Let's say that I know I want a divider page and I'm going to hit enter. So think of these as more of like an outline and that it's the level one of an outline. So those are your topics that you need that are big picture, like sport pages, club pages, things of that nature. Okay. So you don't really know specifics yet, but you know you need dividers, openings, sports, things like that. Now it goes to topics. You know that you need class pages, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and I created those the same way. So for example, if I wanted to create a club, I can say FBLA and just hit enter. Um, now it's pretty easy to create your topics and sections. So you may think, why am I doing this? Well, this is like level two of an outline. What it does is allows you, as you go back and forth, to say, I know I need 10 class pages. That's all I have room for. So I have to make my grades fit into the approximate 10 pages that I have allotted. So that prevents you as an advisor from just trying to count and put everything in this way. You can quickly see as you place things if you've got enough pages allotted. And I'll show you how we can list those here. Because right here, you're just brainstorming. So if I want these to be third grade pages, I'm simply dragging from the third grade topic to here, and I'm going to let go. And notice it's selecting over both pages when I put it in the middle. Notice that here it says third grade and third grade right here at the top. It currently has no section assigned to it. I can assign it a section. I can say I want this to be a student portrait page. You can do that in either order. You can assign it a section and not a grade yet, so I can remove the grade. So if I think to myself, I know I want these as portrait pages, but I'm not sure what grades yet. I can just drag over. These will all be student portraits, and these will be student portraits. You can do them individually, meaning one page and one page at a time. Putting it in the middle puts two pages at a time. You'll notice when I do that, the section title comes to the top. And then when I went to topics to break it down more specifically by grade, it places it here at the lower level. You can come here and customize that once your topics and sections have been made. It does become part of a drop down, but they have to be created first. So I want to stress that. They can be changed at any time, so it's very easy to do that. As you saw a moment ago, I quickly delete those. The benefit of doing this is I can quickly look at sections and say, I have 14 pages allotted right now for portraits. And if I go to topics, I only have one page allotted to third grade. And if I drag this over, I now have 3 pages allotted to third grade. Because most of us know in our head, okay, I've got 3 third grade teachers, I've got 1 fourth grade teacher. It's just you can quickly look at, your faculty and say, this is how many classes I need per grade. That's just the way it's normally the easiest to do this when you're trying to lay out your pages. So this quick guide to the left is going to allow you to see that at a glance instead of trying to count it out on the ladder. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Um, and the same thing with clubs. You can say, I need to do, you know, again, 10 sport pages. And then once you come to your topics, start dragging your sports over and, listing them out. Do you have enough for boys basketball and girls basketball to each have their own double page spread, or do they have to share a double page spread and they get one page each? Um, you won't really know until you start laying everything out. And it's good to lay that out ahead of time before you build your pages. So again, quickly looking at all this in advance and planning is really the key to being successful before you get too far into it. Um, Now with this page ladder design, I'll explain some of these little icons you're seeing around, around the pages. First of all, you can select any given page by just clicking up here. I'm going to turn those off really quick. You can do select all over here, and all of your pages are selected at once. Whether you have one page or all selected, your action button will come to life here. And when that comes to life, you have the option to complete pages or submit pages. These are normally choices that are done when you are done with those pages and ready to submit them for publication. So be careful with that. Make sure that you have closely reviewed those pages and you've proofed them carefully. If you happen to complete or submit those by mistake, you do need to contact your rep to have them unsubmit those pages from production. Um, you can at any time also lock a page, again, individually or all at once. You just click on the lock. Um, you can, notice they're all locked with the little yellow lock here. So I'm going to hit select all and I'm going to unlock them. You may want to lock a page if you think you've completed it, but you're not quite to the submission point yet. You want to wait a little bit. Go ahead and lock it to make sure students aren't messing with that. And notice the lock is also here, so you can do that individually. Whoops. The same thing is true here with hide. You'll notice the ghost icon on the individual groups. You can hide a page. The hide a page allows you to not show. I'm going to just click on one for a moment. I'm going to hide a page and you'll get this. What that is used for is the only people that see it are you as the advisor and the students that are actively assigned to the page. This could be used for maybe a special dedication, or if you have senior ads and you don't want senior staff members to see those pages, or any other reason that you want to maybe have a page hidden until publication or the book comes out. Um, I'm going to just show here. You can print a page. So if I click on the print icon, it goes into view PDF mode. And what that allows you to do is to print this page out so you can have a paper copy of your page, which is nice to proofread or to let a student see it. I know as a teacher, sometimes we take a lot of our work home, so you can print it and you can, again, write on it, give it back to the student, whatever you need to do. Um, so hopefully that explains a little bit of those. The little arrow at the top is for completing a page. And when you complete it and submit it, you will see a color change of that icon and along the bottom. Where it says in progress, it will change to say submitted. Um, Obviously, I don't want to hit those right now. Where it says color, you don't really want to change these, but this is, telling you the status of your page. Is it color or is it black and white? Most books nowadays are color. I mean, they just are. So you really don't want to change those as an option. Um, Obviously, it could change the quality, the print, and price of your book if that hasn't been agreed upon. Um, let's see. I mentioned printing individually. You can also print here. You can print all of your pages at once. You can also print your page ladder. This allows you, once your ladder has been given all of its page names and sections, and once you maybe have your staff assigned, you can come in and print the ladder. You can have this kept on a clipboard, maybe placed around your classroom, so it's easily available to you to reference at any time. And this is what that would look like. Next, we have Page Mover, and I'm going to reference this up here on this button. Page Mover, as its name implies, allows you to move pages around once you have started creating your book. However, this name is what it says it does, but you want to be very careful with this because most of the layouts, if you are using any of our templates, are designed with double page spreads. Um, so if you grab them, for example, if I grab this and just simply drag and drop, it asks me if I'm sure, and it will move them. Where people get into trouble is they're trying to move individual pages, and it will flip a left page to a right page. Things don't look right. Um, it it can cause problems when you use Page Mover occasionally, just because of what happens or things shift where you don't want them to go, and then you end up having to um, call for more support to clean up than you originally wanted. So it's really in your best interest to plan as much as possible ahead of time before you get too much into the creative process. And having a plan is your best bet to prevent having to move things around too much. Let's see. Next, let's talk about setting up our staff. If you come to plan, you can set up staff members. As you can see, I set up some of my family members in here just as an example, so you can see what they look like here. You can simply come to Add Staff, and you would type in the first name, last name, and a username. I like to just use maybe the first initial and the last name. Um, a password, and an email. If you are at a school that has like a list of logins and passwords for computers already, that's what I like to stick with personally. But again, that's up to you. Um, a school email is absolutely the best option on that. And then the role. The role is how much accessibility they have within the program. Your best bet is always staff. Please do not give them the role of the advisor. That is the role that you should only have. If you have a co-advisor, again, that is up to you, but the students should really just have the role of staff. They have a little bit more accessibility with editor, but I would just really keep them at staff. I mean, that's in your best interest. Um, let's see. Again, when you come back into here at staff, once you have your staff set up, you can come to view activity and you can come in and see what work any given staff member has done. So if you have a class and the little darlings are telling you they've worked so hard for you the day that the sub was there, you can come in and see specifically by name and sort that student or staff member's name and see exactly what they did that day. So, for example, I'm sorting my son's name. Nothing. He did nothing. So again, that just kind of gives you a point of reference of how that works to see. Like I said, I was an advisor. I know what they do and what they don't do. So hopefully you can utilize that tool of viewing their activity and it helps you when you're wanting to grade there. Next, let's look at the fonts. Next, as you can see, there are a large variety of fonts available to you. First of all, it's recommended to really not have more than 5 fonts in your book just because it's going to give you a cleaner look that's more organized. You don't want to have them just because you can. Um, now, um, if you have your user's manual available to you, you can see this in print form, and I believe it's on page 195 in those manuals. Um, the beauty of this program is you do not need to install any fonts onto the computers or student computers. You simply would click to make a font active or inactive. Again, I have mine just clicking back and forth. Again, if it's inactive, the students don't see it. If it's active, they do see it. It's that easy. Again, you do not need to install anything. Things to consider when you are choosing fonts is you want to look at the font type. Everybody likes a nice script font. They're beautiful, but readability. For names, those are not the best choice. They might look good for maybe a homecoming or a prom headline, but you want to avoid really the some of those for names. You want to stay with a cleaner looking font for people to read for captions or names. So you can choose them, maybe have your staff vote. It's completely up to you. Um, Another point on readability, we like to remind people you can change the color of your font, and we encourage you to be creative. But if you're going to have a dark colored background, make sure we can read your font when it's printed. Black font on dark blue backgrounds cannot be seen when printed. You either need white font or you need to put the font on a white box. Um, we hate to see student names not being able to be seen. So please be careful with things like that or white font on a very light colored background. That's a problem too. So just be mindful that if it's difficult for you to read on a screen, it definitely cannot be read when it's printed. Once you have selected the fonts that you want, I'm just randomly picking some here, you can come under styles here and you can create styles. Now, what styles do is they allow you to preset, like anytime a headline is created, You can assign a certain font for all headlines. Anytime a caption is created, it will be a specific font. Anytime a name is created, it'll be this font. So it kind of just expedites the process and makes it easier and allows for consistency. So if I click Add Style, I can say, um, maybe, I know, I'm going to put sport headlines. And obviously, the category is headline. And I can pick maybe which font I want, and then I say what size I want it. Maybe I want it to be a size 40 and save. And so anytime a student um, drags over a text box and picks sport headline, it's going to be automatically the size when they drop it in. And then they can type in football, soccer, whatever they want. So they don't have to constantly, ask me what size, what font. I can go in and predetermine all of those. And I can come in and say, um, student names, I want them to be, um, so body copy. Again, this may not look good. I don't know. I want all student names to be a certain way. Um, hopefully there it goes. That's showing up. See, that's a little small, but comparatively, I can always edit them, and then you just resave it. But you kind of get the gist of it. And again, anything that's done here as a style will copy across to all the student logins. So again, that will save you time and allows for consistency. That's the whole important part of this, is allowing you to have consistency and save time and minimize the amount of questions you get from your staff members. Next, we have the replay it. Replay it. Again, a really good feature again that I did not utilize as an advisor that I could kick myself for. um, what Replay It does is it's a private photo submission platform that allows you as the advisor to receive images from community or students. Um, and basically, you're the only one that sees them before they are put into the yearbook program. It does not mean you have to use them. No one sees them until you approve them. I can't stress that enough because that's important nowadays. So, what this allows you to do is to come in here and you assign a date you want to open the platform for your school and the date that it closes. It gives you an assigned um, user ID. And of course, the number of images is set at like 10,000. That's a lot. And you just click when it's enabled, and then it gives you um, a link. You can share that link via your school's Facebook page if you have maybe a school site. I know schools have different platforms that they do things with regarding websites. However you want to share it is completely up to you. But you have a web link there. You can also create flyers from here. There's a link for that. So again, all of that is available to you. Um, very user friendly. I do want to show you quickly how it works from the parent side because that is pretty useful. It may take a second to get it. There we go. Okay, from the parent side, what they see, because it's so easy for them to use. They simply would go to the link that's provided and it says choose files. They can pick a file. So I'm going to pick just this backpack and open. And then they are asked for their email, their first name, their last name. And then regarding the picture, they have to type in who is in the picture. So it is requiring them to tag the picture for you, which is nice because you will not be bombarded with dozens of pictures where you don't know who it is. They also need to put in a current grade. So again, that's great. And they have to acknowledge that they understand that they're loading a picture to you that could possibly use for publication. And then they hit upload. Whoops, I didn't put in an email. Um, so let me put in my personal one. There we go. So you can kind of get the gist to see how this works. So it's that easy for them to do. I have to put a grade. Um, Now, once that is done, these will come to you um, under the picture site where you see all your images. You do see those. You will have a folder that's created. Again, only you see it as an advisor, and it's titled Replay It. Um, Again, since that was a demo account, I don't see that folder right now. Like I said, it won't let me see that, but I did want to show you how that shows up from their view. Oop, let me get back to where I was. Sorry. So please encourage your parents to use that, and it will save you a lot of time on your side. Next, I wanted to just remind you as we talk about the images, um, we also have an upcoming video, as I mentioned, that's going to talk to you about managing portraits. When you have your school portraits taken, your photographer should be providing you with either a link or a physical CD that has all of your student portraits on that. All of those can be submitted to us, and we will upload those images for you, and we can organize those by grade or by teacher. All of those names are automatically tagged, and we do what is called a flow. Again, we explain, or excuse me, we don't flow it, but that allows you to flow those images easily. So, so I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. I have blocked myself out here. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that to you. So if you get your yearbook link, please do send that to us or submit it. And let me go back in here and just show you where those images are. Image library and portraits. If you go to your portraits, we will upload those student portraits right here, and you will see them organized by grade and staff. And as I mentioned, all the student names and staff names will be there, and you can easily place all your images with names attached, and you don't have to type anything in. But we do need you to send that information to us. Before we conclude our session at this time, does anybody have any questions? I'll open up the chat for you to type anything in. Well, if there's no questions at this time, I do thank you for joining me this afternoon. I hope each of you found something in this webinar today that will help you get your school year off to a productive start. Remember, if at any time you need assistance, please contact your customer service rep, and please join us for the upcoming webinars where we're working with portraits. Um, and also, I hope that you check out our website for those previously recorded videos. Thank you again.